my next guest is really my hero. Because the real heroes are the women that come to the center and listen to our message. I'd like to introduce you to my next guest, which I can say, she's a courageous woman, just for the mere fact that she's willing to share her story. Bella, will you please come to the stage?
So my name is Bella, and first I'd like to just say how honored I am to be here, because you could have picked anyone, but you chose me, and it's an honor to be here to share my story. And I'd like to just start off with what a full circle it's been to get to this point from where I started. Before I share the story of how I even came to the Allied Women's Center, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So, I had a pretty rough childhood growing up. I experienced a lot of abuse, and that kind of continued throughout my life. And I remember as a little girl, the only hope I had in my life wasn't my dreams, because my dreams faded with the abuse. But I wanted a family more than anything, and I wanted children of my own. So you could understand that when I finally became of age, an adult, and realized that I couldn't have kids, it really was hurtful. It was very sad to me, but my life continued, you know, and it really didn't have purpose or direction, but it went on. And then I find out that I got pregnant. And it was such a huge surprise to me, and the first thing I felt was fear. I felt a lot of fear, because I felt like I didn't have what it takes to be a mom. I was underqualified, I didn't have an education, I didn't have anything to offer. That's how I felt. What could I possibly offer a child? So I spoke to some of my friends, and they weren't faith believers, and they actually asked me, or at least encouraged me, to have an abortion. And at the time, it seemed like a possibility. It seemed like the best choice, because I felt like, what could I possibly offer a baby? I remember I made the appointment, and they told me, you know, go ahead and come on in, and this isn't the time that you're actually going to have the abortion, it's just phase 1, where it's kind of like a consultation. So I remember the drive there, I was just absolutely terrified, and I was praying. And I wasn't sure if God was listening to me, but I was begging him, please give me a sign to know what it is that I need to do, because I need you right now. I don't have support. I can't tell my mom because I'm so ashamed. Give me a sign. And in the midst of my prayer, I remember there was a car in front of me. At the same time, I'm looking for this place where I was going to have the abortion done, right? And the car in front of me almost gets in a car accident, and it kind of detours my car, facing a new direction, and I saw the Allied Women's Center. Thinking that was where I was going to be having the abortion. So I walk in there, and Terry's there sitting down at the desk, and I remember thinking, man, this place was so much warmer and not as cold as I imagined it would be. It looks so homely and welcoming, right? So I look at her and I was like, I have an appointment, I think. And then I look around and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm at the wrong place. And she's like, oh, no, you're at the right place. And I was like, okay. So she's like, here, why don't you take this pregnancy test and go ahead, go into the restroom. So I remember I go in there and I'm thinking like, this is so strange. Like, this is nothing of what I imagined this is going to be like, right? So, of course, the pregnancy test comes out positive, right? And at that time, I'm just thinking, like, wow, what's next? What are they going to inform me about the process of, you know, the abortion itself? So she takes me into a room, and I remember in this room there's like a television, and she puts a video in and she walks out. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of details, but this is what I remember. I remember watching that video and just feeling so convicted when I saw what brought life to my baby. It validated my baby. And by the time that video was over, Terry walks in, and I'm just Niagara Falls, just bawling my eyes out because I knew my baby mattered. And I just cried in her arms, and she was like, she offered every support that I thought I didn't have, she offered it to me. She goes, if you're afraid that you're not going to have enough money to support this baby, we're going to help you. If you need anything at all, we're here to help you. Every support, like in so many different ways, she was there to tell me, whether it was diapers, whether it was milk, whether it was strollers, anything. She was saying, if you choose to have this baby, I want you to know that you're not alone in this journey. You are not going to go through this alone. We are here to help you. And I made my choice to keep my baby, even though it was the scariest thing. But rather than focus on the material things that the Allied Women's Center offers, I just want to bring attention to the impact that my babies have made on my life because I ended up at the Allied Women's Center and chose to keep my babies. So, Terry, you validated me when I was there. You held me as I cried. You told me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. And that gave me hope. A whole lot of hope. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can. When I accepted to keep my babies, the change wasn't about changing my circumstances, the change came in me. I didn't know it then, but later on, it's just been unfolding because before, I didn't have an education. My dreams had been shot down. I didn't have anything to offer. Now, I'm back in school. I've accepted Jesus into my life. My daughters worship with Jesus. And through the journey, it hasn't been easy, but in the weakest times, even when I didn't have strong faith in God, believing that I mattered because my babies mattered, and that I just had to have that diligence to just keep on going for them because they deserve it. They deserve a mom that goes to school. They deserve a better life. They deserve that. So that has been what propels me to continue and try to better my life. And now I'm in such a better place than I was then, and it's because of my babies and the impact they've had on me. So the very thing that I thought was going to be the end of me turned out to be the very thing that brought me back to life, and that was life itself. I'm not sure why you're here, but I do believe that just like back then wasn't an accident. It was divine intervention. It was God that led me to the Allied Women's Center. It wasn't coincidence. It was by design that I was there. And I'm just so happy that you were there, be allowing yourself to be used by the Holy Spirit to speak life into me and bring hope back into my life at a time that I really needed that. And, you know, your giving does matter. And I'm proof of that, but my children are proof of that. Because without this ministry, they might not be here. And I have no clue where my life might be without them. So it's because of you that women like me have an opportunity to become who God designed us to be. And He always uses the things, the very last thing that you think, oh yeah, that's what God's going to use to change my life, is the very thing that He'll end up doing. He'll end up using that to propel you and propel me to be where He wants me to be. And I am so grateful for that and excited for the generations to come that will be touched by your giving. Because it isn't just in the moment that you're helping someone, it's next generation, my babies. It's their generation that they're going to reap the benefits of this blessing. So I thank you in advance for the giving that you're going to do and the change that you will bring into our community. Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome, Bella. Thank you for sharing that with us all. We are very, truly inspired. I'm thrilled. Beautiful little baby there.